Oil money from the East is flooding the European transfer market this season like a tsunami. Saudi Arabia is seated at the dinner table feasting on the choicest and best of European skills. These money bags are readily snapping up players around Europe at insanely huge asking prices. But why did the oil-rich desert jewel of the East suddenly shift its gaze to the round leather game? Why are the Arab sheikhs all out to splurge an insane amount of petrodollars on football? They must indeed be cooking something we can't quite smell. And that's where the story gets quite interesting, but before we go down that path, there's something you need to know. You see, history, they say, repeats itself. So this is not the first time. A country with very little to do with football is diving head-on into the footballing arena to splurge some cash. In 2010, the UAE burst into the scene to snap up Manchester City FC through its money bag, the Abu Dhabi United Group. Since then, it has also snapped up other clubs across 4 continents. And just like clockwork, Qatar made a similar move after their UAE compatriots for the dominant football club in France, Paris Saint-Germain. Now, if you look closely, one thread binds these two sudden big players in European club football. Both are Middle Eastern countries with very terrible human rights records. But what does owning a football club do for their reputation? Well, it is called sports washing. This is when a really oppressive country with terrible human rights records uses sports, in this case, football, as a shiny gloss to cover its bad reputation. It is kind of like PR on speed, a sneaky propaganda to change people's perspective about them. So what is different this time? Their Arabic big brother, Saudi Arabia, is aggressively going for the jugular this time. You see, in 2021, Saudi also hit the city of Newcastle with its own money bag, the Saudi Arabian Public Investment, with one goal in mind, to add the local club to one of their long list of acquisitions. This move met strong criticism and some strong opposition, especially from Newcastle fans. For one, it bred a new organization among the Newcastle United fans, the NUFC fans against sports washing. They kicked and pushed against the deal, but the appeal of seeing their once mediocre club get a facelift and compete for silverware was stronger than the opposition. You see, before the Saudi moneybags came into the picture, they had just survived relegation, with an uncertain future in the Premier League. And the major dream of every fan was to see their club regain the glory of the Shearer days when they dominated the league. So there was very little consideration to the allegations of sports washing, especially since they finished high up in the league table last season. However, it seems that was just the prelude. The real show was still in production. Because in 2022, Saudi sank $2.3 billion into football sponsorships, and the target? 4 of its clubs. This money dump translates to a 75% stake in the 4 Al's: Al Nasser, Al Ahly, Al Ittihad, and Hilal. So with this huge infusion of cash, these clubs are all over Europe, poaching the very best of the best. And it seems the Saudis want to build a league that has strong links with Europe, to appear good by association. Well, these clubs have made significant purchases in the last few months. It started with Al Nassr luring the big fish earlier this year, none other than Cristiano Ronaldo. And the others have followed with rapid-fire landing other big names like Karim Benzema, N'Golo Kante, Edouard Mendy, and Roberto Firmino. Now Al Hilal saved the biggest for last, because a few days ago they rolled out the red carpet for the most significant bid the world has ever seen. A few days ago, the Saudi League champions made a huge offer of 300 million euros for Kylian Mbappe. It was reported that they offered 200 million as a signing bonus, and the remaining 100 million euros would be paid over the course of his contract. It's definitely a staggering amount of money, but I wonder if it will be enough to persuade Mbappe to leave his current team. Now, beyond the question of being able to lure Mbappe to the Saudi League lurks another unanswered question, a piece of the puzzle that has not really fit all along. What is the motivation for the heavy bids coming from the Middle East lately? And particularly, what is the motivation for this hefty bid for just one player? What do you think? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. You see, while we don't really have clear answers to these questions at this point, because the end game of these Saudi money bags are not clear at the moment, there are, however, some possibilities that are clear. For one, Al Hilal wants to improve its chances of retaining the Asian Champions League. And with the amount of money in its pocket, it won't hurt to splurge it on one of the best forwards in the world. Also, if this deal pulls through, it would be a major PR for the club. Meanwhile, the bid echoed in the footballing world with a lot of reaction, most of which were concerns about Saudi's growing influence in football. If Saudi has the money to lure any player, no matter the cost, then all the clubs looking out for top talent in Europe have a problem on their hands. Because with enough money to make even the best of players rethink their decisions, it may just come down to a game of the highest bidder. Look at the bid for Mbappe, for example. At least 5 clubs, including Chelsea, Real Madrid, Barcelona, were in the race to get his signature. They were all hopeful to land the youngster until the Saudi deep pockets blew them away with an out-of-the-world deal. It made their offers look like a child's play. That's what it looks like to have whales in the transfer market. But beyond the increasing need to make their league competitive by luring the big names, the Arabian Petrodollars have 2 other big clubs in the English league on their crosshairs. Recently, 2 Premier League heavyweights, Liverpool and Manchester United, declared interest to possible investors, and they are definitely open to a Saudi money feast. You see, beyond the player and club poaching, Saudi is taking another approach to the football project. When you attract top talent from around the world, you will definitely need a top coach to manage them. So they have also been in the market for top coaches. Let's take a look at the coaches of the Saudi Big Four, for example. Al Nassr is managed by Rudy Garcia, Al Hilal, Leonardo Jardim, Al Ittihad, Nuno Espirito Santo, and Al Ahly, Bruno Genesio. And more recently, younger coaches like Liverpool legend, Steven Gerrard, all foreign talent. But what really changed? Why is Europe suddenly open to Saudi petrodollars, despite the initial resistance and claims of sports washing? Now, the first answer that comes to mind is results. Massive results, baby. I mean, look at the clubs enjoying the Saudi money. Newcastle rose from relegation battle to Wednesday night football, all in just one season. Manchester City has dominated the league in the last 5 seasons, and have even landed the coveted European silverware, the UEFA Champions League. All thanks to Saudi petrodollars. So who wouldn't want this level of success for his club, even if it comes at the cost of sports washing? Beyond the results, money also speaks. Just imagine you are a football manager in one of Europe's top leagues, and after a string of poor performance from your side, you get sacked. And after some months away from the activity, there's no club looking your way, and suddenly you get an out-of-the-world offer from Saudi to earn your previous yearly pay monthly. Now that's one tempting offer, very difficult. I mean, who cares about sports washing when you are offered the biggest deal of your life? And this deal comes without the fierce competition and pressure of European football. The huge financial ramification of these deals are really mouth-watering, and tempting enough for NBA star Giannis Antetokounmpo to offer to take Mbappe's place. Tweet. But come on, let's take Mbappe's deal for example. You see, when he put ink to paper for the 3-year deal with PSG that landed him €250 in 3 years, and a say in the running of the club, the sound of it echoed throughout Europe. But that echo is much like a whisper considering what Al Hilal is offering Mbappe. If this deal pulls through, he is set to earn £19 per second. Maybe that doesn't sound big enough, right? Wait till you get the full details of the deal. Well, the offer is at £600 million a year. Now this offer is out of this world when you remember that Ronaldo, who is the biggest signing till date, was snapped up for £177 million per year. That's roughly £5 per second. Now compare that to Mbappe's 19. That's almost 4 times what Mbappe would take home. That's an insane amount of money. Well, that's all the Saudi money bags can offer. And this makes the sports washing clear. Because come to think of it, there isn't really much in the way of football going on in the Middle East. So what does this really mean for football? Liverpool legend Jamie Carragher is one of the many voices raising concern about the Saudi player hunt. He believes the onslaught of Saudi money in the player market should be met with caution. You see, non-European leagues used to be the retirement ground for European players who were past their prime. But Saudi is rewriting the narrative by attracting younger players in their prime like Mbappe and Bernardo Silva. And it is the Bernardo Silva transfer that got Kara talking again. The Liverpool legend tweeted that Bernardo Silva is in his peak years and has been one of the best players in Europe for the last 5 years. I wasn't worried about the Saudi league taking players in their 30s cess, a touch worried with players below the elite, Neves. But if this happens, it feels like a game changer. Saudi have taken over golf, the big boxing fights, and now they want to take over football. This sports washing needs to be stopped. Like the Liverpool legend said, the sports washing is hydra-headed. It extends beyond football to games like boxing and even golf. Let's look at golf for one. In June this year, Saudi-backed Live Golf merged with the PGA Tour. This merger means Saudi Arabia essentially has a stronghold in golf, also with some big-name signings like Phil Mickelson. In the end, as the Saudi circus takes full swing, we should not overlook the concerns raised about sports washing and what it does to the beautiful sports we love. For one, it dilutes the raw beauty of sports and the sporting experience. Because when sports become a political tool, it is no longer a means of entertainment, but dominance and control. Meanwhile, despite the humongous contracts used to attract these top talents, they might just be pawns in a larger political game, and their rights may end up being violated. Now, would you still enjoy your favorite sort when you discover that it is used as a shiny gloss to cover some sinister activities like human rights violations? You see, sports washing can lead to the end of sports as we know it. And it also raises some ethical considerations that we should be aware of. For example, should sports organizations allow themselves to be funded by investors with political interests? Should they accept funds from countries with terrible human rights records? And what responsibility do fans have to hold their favorite sports organizations accountable for their actions? Well, these are questions that are worth answering as we protect our favorite sports from money-wielding political invaders. What do you think about these ethical questions raised? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section below.